The New York State Office of Addiction Services and Support, or OASAS, provides this podcast as a public service. Thoughts and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent or reflect those of the agency or state. This is Addiction, the Next Step.
You are listening to Addiction, the Next Step, the podcast brought to you by the New York State Offices of Addiction Services and Supports. I'm your host, Jerry Gretzinger. Thanks for checking us out here. Today, we're going to be talking about additional efforts to support the addiction workforce. I mean, we've talked so many times about how critical that is, how important it is to support that, and there is a lot being done. So again, part of what we're focusing on today. And to help us do that is Jennifer Farringer. She's here. She's the director of DePaul's National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence from the Rochester area. Jennifer, thanks so much for sitting down with us.
Thanks, Jerry.
Hey, before we get into the scholarship piece of things, I want to introduce people to the organization I just said that you're with. Talk to us. I know they've been around quite some time. You've been working with them a long time. Tell me what it is, what it does.
Yeah, so NCADD, the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence, we're actually one of the oldest councils in New York State and in the country. Been around since 46.
Wow.
Long time. I haven't been there quite that long, although some days. And we're part of the larger DePaul, which is primarily mental health, residential, senior living, etc. So we're the only part of DePaul that deals with addiction, and our space is education and prevention. So we do community-based, school-based, and professional education as well.
That's great, and that's terrific to know that it's been around so long and continues to do so much. And so I talked about today, we're talking about supporting the workforce, we talk about the scholarship, and you said a lot of what you do is about education, right? So talk to us about how the connection came between your organization and the scholarships and the funding for those, and how it's all kind of been, coming together to support the workforce.
So we have a reputation. We're the only education training provider in the region, in the Finger Lakes region. We've been offering the CASAC prep program, or the ACT program, we call it, for about 30 years now, a little bit over 30 years, run a class, 16 months class, offering the 350 hours toward the CASAC.
Okay.
So when the opportunity presented itself through the workforce efforts through OASAS of offering scholarships, we were honestly at a point of wondering, does it make sense to even continue our program? Because there were less students, and affordability is the issue. People wanting to get in the field but not being able to afford it.
Right.
So we certainly jumped on that, and the scholarship opportunity through OASAS literally allowed us to scholarship every student in the program. We have a full vibrant program again, as we had in the old days.
That's great.
And they're incredibly grateful for the opportunity. This is allowing them free tuition and to be able to participate in the 16-month program.
Yeah, so I think that part of the story is great too, because we always talk about, whenever it comes to anything with addiction, reducing barriers, right? So here we are, wanting people to be able to pursue their studies in this, and a barrier often is, as you said, cost. So what were we looking at? What did going through the program cost people that now they don't have to worry about?
Ours is probably one of the least expensive in the state, $3,500, but it's still $3,500.
Yeah.
We always had a monthly payment plan, so again, and we looked for other opportunities in the county, for example, Rochester Works or Access VR. So we look to help people find ways to fund it.
Yep.
But this is full funding. This is full and complete funding for a very large number of people.
Yeah, and so great that that's able to happen. So do me this favor. So if people are out here listening and they hear about this, wow, this is great. It's fully funded and the scholarship covers all the costs. I'm interested. Who do I need to be successful in this program? Like, what do you see as far as the folks who pursue this? What is their background? What makes them a successful participant? What should people think about?
Passion.
Yeah.
Passion and commitment, to wanting to help. So we've always had in our history of providing this program kind of the ultimate of diversity. So diversity in terms of ethnicity, in terms of age, in terms of in the field, not in the field, in recovery, not in the recovery. So it's different than when you go through a university-based program where everybody comes into a bachelor's or a master's with about the same level of education. With a training program, people come from all spaces, whether high school GED, which is OASAS's minimum requirement, But we have those with bachelors, we have those with masters, and I just encourage students to be open to the experience of all because it makes for a very rich adult education program.
Yeah, I think it would because,
Yeah.
like you said, you have so many different backgrounds and levels that they're coming from. So what do you find are other concerns that people have when they first make that inquiry? Like, well, I want to do this, but
Timing, life. Work schedules change, and then they're stuck. I mean, our schedule is our schedule. The program is Tuesday, Thursday evenings, and it is what it is. And so we really talk to students. We do an in-depth student interview for every person interested in coming in to really try to assess their level of commitment. We, especially in this case, because we were offering scholarships, we want to ensure the best you can during a 1-hour interview that someone is really committed for the full run, right? And that they have secured the time, the block with their personal life, their professional life. But the reality is things do change with some. But so far, I mean, we're 2-3 months into the program and everyone's still there.
And their classes are provided on location?
No. We provide the program at our site.
Okay, right,
Yeah.
yes. Yep.
And it is full. I do want to make that clear because we continue to get calls from all over the state. So we are local. We are in person, not online.
Okay, yep.
So that wasn't really clear. I know in the original promotion of this program that each program is based in a different part of the state. Some are online, some are in person. Ours is in person. And this particular class happens to be absolutely filled to the top. We can't take one more.
And you know what? That's being full is some people
It's a good
say
thing.
It's a problem, but it's a good problem to have. I mean,
It is.
Right, yeah.
It is.
So,
It means potentially 30 people coming into the field. And
Yeah.
we all know with the workforce crisis, we're in need of folks.
yeah. And as you mentioned too, you've seen those numbers sort of rebound, right? Because it was different, and now it's just chock full
A
again.
part of that during COVID. I mean, we'd always been an in-person class all of our time other than obviously during COVID. We went virtual, which is a very different experience. So this class, we'd already made a commitment. If we go forward with the class, we're going to bring it back in person. And it's just so nice to have people back in the room, interacting. I mean, it's completely different than doing it virtually.
Okay, so if people are hearing this and like, yeah, okay, you know what, this works for me. I want to be a part of this. Where do they need to go online? Who do they need to call? What's the information?
Well, we are full. Our classes are 16 months in length.
Yeah.
I don't know what the future holds in terms of OASAS offering future scholarships. They certainly can check out our website, www.ncadd-ra.org. There's a whole page on the Addiction Counselor Credential Training Program. But again, it is full, and it is in person. Yeah. And no, we are not offering it hybrid. So there are other programs in the state that are offering it. So what I typically tell people is check with one of the other programs for availability. But we're well into this scholarship process, so it might be that others are in the same full capacity. I don't know.
Right, but certainly for your organization, once this iteration of it is done, it's not over. It'll be a new group.
It's not over.
Yeah.
Exactly. Whether there'll be a similar situation with full scholarships for everybody, that's the first time in our 30 years that's happened.
Yeah. So stay tuned on that. Hopefully we'll have the same kind of news we can share going forward.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you so much for sitting down with us today, walking us through all that. I think it's wonderful to hear that it's full, and we're hoping for many more classes that we can, fill to the brim.
Great.
All right. Thanks so
Jerry.
much. All right. And thank you very much for listening to us here on Addiction the Next Step, the podcast brought to you by OASAS. Also, you can go to our website looking for information, oasas.ny.gov, and our hope line is 877-8-HOPE-NY. I'm Jerry Gretzinger. Be well.